What's up, everybody? Starting a little early in my uh what 3 hour planned in advance, spur of the moment kind of episode live. I don't know. I kind of wanted to do this yesterday, but I was really busy with a lot of stuff was going on. And today's episode is my reaction to yesterday and a bunch of other stuff. But mostly the most important thing. Now, as you know, my channel covers a lot of what's on my mind and covers a lot of entertainment stuff, video games, movies, Super Sentai, a lot of geeky stuff, a lot of Snyder Cut stuff. I want to touch on that for a little bit, but yeah. But one thing I like to do is share what I feel is important. This is very much like a vlog. This is a very unfiltered uh radio show, podcast series show, whatever you want to call it. And I'm proud of it. But today I just want to share my thoughts and feelings and some clips that are like not cliff notes, maybe let's call them here on my channel clip notes. Yeah. um to help me like just react to what's going on, because I really don't have a lot of words. And a lot of you who are familiar with my show, you are probably have an idea where this is going. But let's see. Yesterday there was a picture of a big production level cosplay of the Man of Steel. I thought it was funny. It's not that impressive. I really don't care about it. I don't think it's worth the time. And I'm not a fan of all that stuff in that direction. And the bootiness of all that Mickey Mouse type of last minute rush corporate committee film make type of movie, whatever. I love entertainment, but there are more important things. And as art and entertainment is important to us all, and it helps us escape, get away from a lot of stressful stuff in our lives. There is a strong merit that entertainment can have the power to tell a provoking story, or inform you on something, or expand your world and understanding of the world around you, and places you may have never been before, even in our imagination, or some place we wish we could travel to. And there are themes of good over evil, tough decisions, gray areas in life. Sometimes there is no good decision to make. You just make the best one you can. And we find these stories through the heroes of the tale, the characters, the leads of these stories. And the stories can be done in a song, in an artwork, not just a movie. It could be a play. It could be many forms of communication where we use art to convey the human experience and revelations to another person in an entertaining way. There is also what I call bubblegum entertainment, where it's just kind of fun. You just want to have fun, shut your mind off for a little bit, and move your booty to something. Um, and there's merit in that too, but I think too much of that is like too much junk food. It's not good for you. And I did do a tweet of a whatchamacallit. I share a lot of pro wrestling stuff, but also I did a little tweet of the cosplay of the Man of Steel, and I noticed that got a lot of attention. Maybe because a lot of people do know me for the Snyder Cut days, and they follow me for that. And when I do other stuff, they're like, "What is this?" But I, like I said, I want to share everything that's on my heart. And like the Snyder Cut days, um, see these comic book movies. My problem is that I feel like they've come to a point where, and or it's easy to come to a point with anything that's oversaturated, and studios just push them out like a cookie cutter mill, um, or a cookie cutter factory, whatever. To the point where I feel like it loses its meaning, its sincerity, its power to be impactful, even though it's fun. And It's just like just a product. And then everything we know about superheroes, when we come down deep to not just superhero, but a hero of the story, mythological, fantasy, action, adventure, dance, even romance. There's a hero of the tale, and or even biopic. It doesn't always have to be superheroes, but there's this thing where there's something you could take away with, something you could apply to your life as either an understanding or a stronger understanding or a new understanding of what's right and wrong that you may not have had before. And the cool thing about superheroes, specifically them, is that they have this escapism and they have this ability to entertain a lot of things in various ways. There's not one way to tell a superhero story or experience it. And it could connect with people. And if there is some deeper meaning behind the adventure of that superhero, whoever it is you like, fill in the blank, then there's something extra special where you can take with you. And I feel when things get too, I guess, commercial, corporate, a lot of those themes get lost. And people aren't challenged anymore. People don't want to be challenged. And I think we have to. It's really important because then the hypocrisy comes to the point where um, there's travesties in the world or in your neighborhood or in your city or in your country, and you can't react or can't just figure out what's right or wrong, or you actually inadvertently are on the wrong side, and all that superhero stuff, lessons and whatever, really means nothing. Like we could fight over how Superman, for example, he should have the trunks on. He shouldn't do this. He shouldn't do that. Or Batman, or let's say Iron Man, whoever you want. But then we get obsessed with how they should be perceived rather than the meaning of what they stand for or can stand for and do. And for some reason, hey, what's up, Aries? Thanks for swinging by, brother. Appreciate you. Uh, if the whole meaning of this hero's journey, the adventure of going up against evil, right versus wrong, good versus bad, then what's the point of it all? It kind of, the gold loses its luster. And I'm feeling a lot of that because yesterday, Egypt and Qatar have been formulating a ceasefire with the group Hamas and Israel, the government of Israel, IDF. And this isn't the first time a ceasefire was organized and rejected by Israel. But I saw the word of in the news of Hamas agreed to it. And then I saw reports of Israel in real time. I was watching it. I kept it on while I was at work, right, in the morning. I saw that Israel were going over the details. And I was seeing videos of people celebrating in northern Gaza. And they're glad that there's no more. Because who wants to live under constant bombardment? And then Rafah gets attacked. If you don't know, Rafah is south of Gaza. And there's millions of civilians there. Now, if you don't know, you should know by now. And if you don't know where I stand, you should know by now. But if not, I'll let you know real quick. See, if you get lost in what's right and wrong in the gray area, a really good indicator of what's right and wrong is the harm done to innocent people, the harm done to innocence, the violence. Now, I said before, I like pro wrestling, all this action stuff. There's a lot of action, adventure, and violence in that content, even in our Super Sentai shows that we do. That's like kid friendly. But there's an understanding of consequences, or even if not, we understand this, and we should understand that it's a fantasy, and violence is wrong. And in my deepest heart's belief is that the only place violence should belong is in story. I mean, we do have boxing, we do have MMA, we do have Muay Thai, we have competitive fighting sports, but there is a sportsmanship and etiquette there. And I think that's as far as it should go. Any other violence should just be in story and stories of history so we can learn from it and never do it in real life. Violence is wrong. Hurting people is wrong. Stealing from people is wrong. Bearing false witness of your neighbor is wrong. So you have this strong concept of at least those. There are many that God gave us, but if you look and see what's going on and keep in mind what is wrong there, your moral compass will take you in the right direction. And more information about everything is available. This stuff is not a secret. At this point, what's going on in Palestine is a matter of if someone's in denial or if someone is actually harboring that prejudice to be okay with collective punishment. So, harming civilians is wrong. Taking people as hostages is wrong. Now, if you want to look at Israel and Hamas, both Hamas and Israel are guilty of both. And you could weigh the scales of who's more than the other. But from all the reports that we have access now, on that horrible day, October 7th, that hit the news, there were no babies beheaded and there was no rapes. That was all lies. And people were hurt. And a lot of people were hurt by the crossfire. A lot of people were hurt by IDF too. You have female IDF soldiers who refused to open fire in the direction where Israeli citizens are, even though they were told to. Others opened fire, but then they blame Hamas. But all this is old news, really, because there's tragedies that Israel did on October 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, all through the month, all through the next month, all through the month after that, and onwards onto today. They only stopped for a few days when there was an actual ceasefire, an exchange of hostages from both sides. Israel has around 10,000, give or take, Palestinian hostages. And Hamas has around 150, 160, something like that. I know Israel killed 13 of them, of their own. And you should know this too. You all should be up to date. And if you're not, you have some homework to do. I say some because it doesn't take much to catch up to all that's been going on. And we really, really need to pay attention to this because this is a wildfire. Human lives are being slaughtered. This isn't right. We should all be like addressing this and not just looking for the first bit of information to dismiss it, not just looking for the first bit of information to stereotype and be okay with collective punishment. Ladies and gentlemen, collective punishment is wrong. It's terror. It's racist. To punish a group of people and take a whole demographic of people to punish them for a threat, for an action? How's that any different from Nazi Germany and the Holocaust? This is a second Holocaust. This is another Holocaust. There shouldn't be another Holocaust, but we're seeing it now. And you're either in denial or you're trying to stop it. You're either for it or you're trying to stop it. Trying to stop it. Say something. Talk about it with people. This should be normalized. We shouldn't be programmed to think, oh, we shouldn't talk politics. We shouldn't talk religion. It gets too messy. It's too hard. When you avoid things that need to be addressed because it's hard, you get lazy, you get weak. Then what takes its place is the laziness of letting others think for you. See, it's like following your dreams. When you don't follow your dreams or make decisions, others will do it for you. That's where it gets dangerous. So, um, people should be accountable for their actions and face justice for the crimes they do. And the problem is, you have a whole government doing war crimes on innocent people without any consequences. Nothing except more and more support. But I'm gonna share some clips with you that I got together real quick uh from the gram and other places. The thing is, I'm not monetizing this at all. This is strictly to help. This is out of good faith that it's also it's also so I could sleep at night too. If I know I'm doing something to stop this massive school shooting going on in Gaza, I'd feel better. I just can't sit idly by. And so many people aren't. Whatever you can do, peaceful protest, which it has always been, and we'll get to that too in the show. And awareness, talking about it, information. See, the thing is, I can only do so much. You who are here watching this show, who watch others and read, thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate and love you for that. The thing is, I don't know what it takes to help someone have empathy, have a change of heart, to feel their heart. And I don't know how to educate someone. I could say, hey, show up to school, show up to class, class is in session, da da da. But who's doing the learning? Who's doing the homework? Who's studying? That is you. So changing hearts and changing minds. Okay, I don't want to say changing, but helping people use their minds, helping or encouraging people to feel in the right place. Anger and ignorance is so easy to go to, because then when you're angry and stereotyping people as the terrorist, the problem, you don't have to work because you've already established, in this case, very wrongfully, you've already established that the problem is there and not here. The problem is there and not here. And then you don't have to do the work. But all the energy you feel, the frustration, what's going on, because I believe no human being in their right mind, body, and soul likes children dying. I'm shocked when I see people celebrate it. This last 7 months, I've seen and heard things I cannot get out of my mind. And I feel it's my duty to not forget them, because I need to do everything I humanly can to stop it. And so we're talking about superheroes. The whole Snyder Cut situation, a director had a film taken away from him and lost his daughter to suicide. Tragic things. And then us as fans who want to see his work succeed, because we're fans of his work. I don't worship anybody. I only worship God. But if you're a fan of someone's work, you want to see more of it. You want the best for them. You want their work to be seen, to be known. And the fact that he lost a child, and it seemed like the studio who was responsible for giving him this grief didn't even care. Seemed very cold to me, and a lot of others. And then I campaigned to help get his film out and spread the awareness of mental health. Then what happened? The movie was coming out. It got announced. Vindication, yay! Everyone celebrated. It was awesome. But then a lot of us don't get a lot of money in this. In fact, I lost a lot of money campaigning for the Snyder Cut. So I love that movie because I invested in it big time. Why'd that pop up? I hate when that goes on. But what was lost was the morality, the message. And when I thought getting the movie out was impossible, and then we did the impossible, the message, which I thought was strong, I found out was only holding on a thread. So many people went into bullying or cloud chasing and infighting, social media wars. Not a lot of people. It was only the people who benefited from the fame of that. See, there's either riches or fame, and some people find them equally uh, powerful or uh, worthwhile more than what really matters. What's up, my brother Hitomi? This is a Palestine episode tonight. Much love to you, brother. Thank you for always coming by. So now we have this other situation where instead of release of a movie, we want a release of people. Every single hostage should be released. There should be genocide on nobody. Giving freedom and equal rights to people does not mean genocide of another people. We're against genocide. That is not the answer. We're against collective punishment. We're against targeting, harming, and killing innocent men, women, and children, especially children. My word, ladies and gentlemen, children were being slaughtered while people were at a gala. I always want to talk. If I have time, you can jump on. But right now, I want to get a lot of stuff out. Then we'll see how we feel later. Yeah. I always want to talk. But yeah, we could talk after too. Um, after I do this stream, I'm gonna do a prayer and then get some grub or whatever. Hey, Palestina Libre, free Palestine. Thank you, brother. That dude's a legend, by the way. Don't let the comedic graphic title confuse you. Dude is amazing. But yeah, so yes. Now, after that lengthy intro, about yesterday, I mean, I'm not going to hate on cosplay. Cosplay takes tremendous work, and it's a craft all on its own. And sometimes the cosplay is better than the films, which I think is an interesting bar. Films should be higher, but some cosplay, even my own, I did buy cheap, and it was a pajama, and I made it work, and I rocked the hell out of it. So you can't touch me with that. But yeah, sometimes it does look cheap though, which is pretty obvious. I did my Avatar Aang Airbender outfit, which was very obvious. Oh yeah. So I'm doing a cool little thing here. So uh I'm streaming on this is live, by the way, on YouTube, the main hub, but it's also live on Twitch and Twitter. I have a huge following on Twitter, so I hope that everyone could come together in one place over here on YouTube, but it's all good. I just want to reach a lot of people. Yeah, that's why. Everyone giving love to each other. I appreciate it. Nothing but love. So it was just astounding. Y'all seen the Hunger Games? Hunger Games with this, there's a society of avant-garde, rich people, very privileged. And then there's the common folk who are brink of starvation and living in poverty. And then just to get a boost or whatever, they get thrown into these games without they have to slaughter each other for the entertainment of the masses. And it seems like that's going on right now. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. That makes sense was to the chat thing. Yeah, if you can see the logos, I think it shows up here. There's a little X there. So yeah, I'm going to show you some clips. Like I said, I'm not monetizing this. I just want to share with other content because the whole idea is the message, you know, and it's the message is no genocide, freedom to people, equal rights, free Palestine, stop killing innocent men, women, and children. Please release all the hostages. That's the goal. That's the goal the whole time. And I do not appreciate this narrative war from our government and the news media in their pockets, funded by this lobbies to just repeat old propaganda and to ignore what the people already know from eyewitnesses, countless. This is a genocide that's been well documented and well denied by powers that can stop it. It's like the people who don't have the power to stop it want to stop it, and the people who have all the power to stop it will not stop it. And I'm gonna share some clips and react to those. Otherwise, your boy Kojay is gonna go on a tangent. So again, yes, literally dying to live. And now, if you want to see more of my thoughts, check out my other videos, Voices for Hamzeh. And Hitomi showed up on one of those. And I had guests also like Hamad. He showed up for two of them. And I hope to get more and I will make more, but I always hope the one I make is the last one. But I'm gonna talk on even when I do my game streams, I'm always mentioning Palestine because you're just gonna have to listen to that from me because I'm trying to help in any way I can. These students are peacefully protesting, and I know because I've gone to many of these protests. I know how they go, and what people are slandering about it is all false, and we'll get into that as well. So, here's a clip about yesterday. Oh man, sorry, it doesn't get easier. I don't think it ever will, which is natural and important. So we have I apologize if I don't know the celebrity. I don't follow a lot. A lady who cannot walk because she has such a elaborate dress on, and takes a few gentlemen to lift her up the steps for a photo op. The same day, a father is carrying his child who is dead, lifeless in his arms, frantically, and is all in the same time. This is all after people are celebrating hope of a ceasefire, an end to being targeted and killed on our taxes. Now, you can't get more American than speaking your mind and using your free speech to do something good. That's what makes this country great. That's what makes the people at power always trying to beat down the American man and woman to be susceptible and to have like an umbilical cord to the corporate machine. So we don't think, we consume, we just feed them all the money. They get the profits and send them all over to another country that calls the shots here apparently now and makes that little utopia over there that, you know, the future generations of this prestigious privileged family can go there. And then we're stuck here in America and it's going to be a total recall situation. Look at it. Biden got in office real fast. He's really old. I didn't know you could run for president when you retire, but hey, this is America. I guess, you know, actors can be presidents. It's happened before. It might happen again. Oh yeah, we had a TV star become an actor, a reality star. That is Trump. But they're all two wings of the same bird. They have different ways to go about the same deal. They all worship the United States of Israel, and it's like a Pokemon card. Biden will come with a certain skill set for the terrorist state of Israel, and Trump will come up with another skill set for Israel. Now they're looking in the long term. Remember the words "Great Israel" or "the Great Israel." Uh, I don't know if I got the footage. I'll save it for the next one. But there's someone going over a map that shows Israel, but not as we know it, but expanded into territories of Lebanon, Yemen, and other stuff. So keep that in mind. Keep all of this in mind because everything I've been saying 6 months ago has been happening right in front of our faces. I'm really trying my best not to swear. I'm really trying. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, I'm all about entertainment, but I think we have to. Okay, another thing I was going to do on my channel, uh, not to sound like I'm advertising, but one thing I want to do on my channel is show a combination of gaming and going out and doing stuff. Then COVID happened, and uh, but also I was living the parent life, raising a kid takes a lot of your time and gives you gray hair. So the idea is that I want to show that you could do more than just one thing, and you should be doing more than one thing. Yeah, some people probably would just want to stick to entertainment, and I'm not knocking that. That's cool. Do your specialty. If you gotta pay bills or do what you gotta do, do what you gotta do. Maybe make another channel to do something, which I do see some people do. There's this guy I follow, Hamzeh's Den. He's awesome. He talks about Islam, has all these wonderful intellectual debates and conversations with other intellectuals. It's very fascinating. I like the guy's mind and where he's coming from. But he also has a gaming channel, so it's all separate. Maybe that's what I should have done. But no, I'm having a great time here. But one of the things I want to focus on is always my thoughts, what I believe in, and all that. So, welcome to my show. You're gonna get it here all the time, like that. Now, going back on topic. Um, by the way, I'll do my best after the show. By tomorrow, I'll provide links to all these other content creators so you can check out more of their work. Again, everything I show and talk about on my show, don't use this as your homework. This is your clip notes I'll be sharing. I want you to do your best to read up all of the stuff. I'll put a link to Al Jazeera. They've been having great journalists on the ground reporting everything what's going on in Gaza and also around the world, but mostly what's going on in Gaza, to the point where the villains had to silence them. Now, in all our stories, communications have been broke. They're going to go in for invasion. La, la, la. It's true. They cut off communications or have people go on blackouts so you don't see the bad stuff that's going on. There's a conspiracy theory about planes. Actually, it's not really conspiracy theory. I think Saudi Arabia was talking like 3 months ago that they can do it. But anyways, there's planes that emit a chemical or something in the air that help encourage the moisture to form some clouds. Now, when you have clouds, that's a cover. You can have things fly around and people don't even know what's going on. If you're on certain airlines, when you go over certain countries that have a certain, you can't look at what's going on, they say you definitely have to put the blinds down and they have to fly over certain areas that they're not supposed to see. All these rules, right? So, point saying is that there's a lot of things in motion just to distract us. There's entertainment, but if it's also a distraction, it's to hide something bad or hide something that will hurt you. Now, you see in nature a lot of creatures like the peacock. Now, you see a beautiful peacock, and you always see women dressed as peacocks. Peacocks are dudes, the pretty ones. Female peacocks, they're camouflage so they could, blend in and protect the young. But the male peacocks are so beautiful for attraction, but sometimes it's also a distraction. And even certain colored animals are done that way because they're poisonous. So distractions is something that can be powerful with entertainment. And so powerful art could be used for good or bad. Just like Hitler, he invested in an art school so he could be on top of his game with propaganda for Nazi Germany. So, but if we as fans, and you notice as fans of comic books and stuff, we are in video games, we're very well educated. Now, someone who's well educated, if the whole mass, all people are well educated on stuff, then it's harder to sell some bullshit. And a lot of things that they want to sell us on bullshit is because they want to take some from us or sell us on something so we don't say something when they're taking it from someone else. So, anyways, this sister goes over made a great video, and I would like to share with you, and I'll put links below.
Guys, I cannot emphasize enough how much of a distraction everything in this country is. When was the Super Bowl? February 11th. What happened on February 11th? Israel struck Rafah on February 11th while everyone was watching the Super Bowl. When were the Oscars? March 10th. What happened on March 10th? We'll check this article about all the things that happened on March 10th. It's literally so much. This is me literally just cherry picking because there's so much to go through. The first thing is that Netanyahu ordered prison preparations for thousands of new arrests, in which he opened up space in Israeli prisons in preparation for the arrests of thousands of more Palestinians in the coming year. And this is just a reminder that approximately 4,000 new Palestinians have been arrested since October 7th. In the West Bank, occupied Palestine, Israeli forces blocked the entrance to Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, not allowing Palestinian Muslims to pray the eve before Ramadan. Israel stalled ceasefire talks. March 10th. Which is interesting because just now, Israel has rejected the ceasefire option that Hamas accepted earlier today. This happened today. It says tomorrow's date because it's already tomorrow in the UK, but we'll get to today in a second. Also on March 10th, a survey came out that 3/4 of Jewish Israelis, 75% of Jewish Israelis, backed an Israeli military attack on Gaza's southernmost city of Rafah, which, as a reminder, there are 2.3 million Palestinians that are displaced and currently sheltering in Rafah in tents. 75% of Jewish Israelis support a military attack on a city of 2.3 million refugees living in tents. Bringing us to today. Do you know what today is? The fucking Met Gala. Do you know what's happening right now? Israel is bombing that city of 2.3 million refugees living in tents. This is what's happening. This is what's happening right now in Rafah, in Gaza, while everybody is so occupied with these bitch-ass celebrities who can't speak out against genocide because they're too afraid for their celebrity status in their stupid-ass outfits in a museum. This is a distraction. All of it is a distraction. The Oscars, the Super Bowl, the Met Gala, all of it is to distract you from what actually matters. It's a distraction from you understanding that your money, the money that you work for in this country, that you are obligated to pay taxes on, is going to killing these people that you are watching or not watching on your phone. My people, my family, my friends, my tax dollars are killing my family. Fuck the entertainment industry.
Hell yeah. And it's crazy because all that is true. All that is true. Oh my gosh. If you've seen my videos, or if you're just tuning into me now, I've been talking about this on and off for a while. Because I do a lot of entertainment stuff, and I feel I have to use my platform. Now, I don't impose my views on people. I'll stay in my lane. I'll be respectful. If you want to talk, I'll talk. I'll mention it if it comes up. But I care more about your sincerity and your willingness and awareness of what's right. What's right and wrong should be plain as day. But the problem is we get tempted or entertained to give into our insecurities of like it's easier to hate a group of people stereotypically than to really take time to understand them and have empathy and compassion for people that you are not familiar with. It's easier to put them in a box because then, okay, I'm done. I don't have to try anymore. Let me just do me. If you're scared of something, it's easier to be angry and hateful towards these things and then just buy everything that people sell you, you know? Or just be distracted. It's like, oh, the world's ugly. I just want to close my eyes and sing la 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 and look at something real nice and put a VR visor on. Like, oh, I'm distracted now. That mentality lets people die from those who don't care. I said this analogy before, and I heard it somewhere. I forgot where, but it's really great. The elephant stepping on the mouse, and the elephant is laughing. This is all cartoon. Elephants don't really do this, or maybe they do. I don't know. Elephant is purposely going on the mouse, and the mouse says, "Don't do it." Now, you could either laugh and enjoy the elephant stepping on it, so you made your vote to join the elephant, or you could be the person, "No, don't stomp on the mouse," and you want to save the mouse because you feel it's wrong. It's not fair to the mouse. The mouse has a say in its own life, right? And then that's your song. Or you're one of those people like, "I'm not going to take part. It's not my business. Has nothing to do with me." And the elephant steps on the mouse. Taking that stance of silence, neutrality, did that save the mouse? Did it stop the mouse from being stomped on? Who does neutrality favor? Neutrality always favors the oppressors. Silence always favors the oppressors. And if any of the video games, animation, movies that we saw of good conquering evil, Hunger Games, Harry Potter, freaking Sonic the Hedgehog, anything, we can make these choices because it's easy. It's not real. It's fantasy. It's fiction, right? Or is it a fictitious, what is it? Elaborate mirror of what we know we've gone through or are going through? A safe mirror to look at something fictitious that doesn't have any stereotypes to, "Oh, I hate these people. This government tells me they hate these people. This church tells me they hate these people," or whatever. Or this group of people tell me hate this person because so and so and so. With fiction, we have the beauty of like not having anything going in, and then we can see a story unfold, and however you enjoy it, your moral compass is being tested. Maybe you want to shut off your mind, like, I just want to see the bad guy just kill a lot of innocent people. Oh, that's crazy. Da, da, da. But even then, you're taking the will to break from reality of what's right and wrong, and you're able to play in that. So entertainment can be as useful or damaging as how you consume it and treat it. And again, what I said about distracting people as a smokescreen, sometimes a lot of times it's used as that. I wouldn't mind if I was, let's say, in charge of the Oscars. I wouldn't mind putting out an awareness video or have Liam Neeson come up and talk about the charities he's involved in with helping children of Gaza, or other actors, or welcome actors who do support it, give them the time of day and let them know what's up and talk about it. And that'd be great. We do it with other topics, but when it comes to killing brown people, it's taboo. Doesn't make sense. Arabic people are Semitic, by the way. So the fact that anti-Semitism is reserved for one demographic of people and ignoring that, I already talked about this before. That logic is racist too. And I'm very proud to march alongside the Jewish Voices for Peace, who are for free Palestine as well. So a lot of us are angry yesterday. Now, this brother, I'm going to share a video again, or again, share a video. He's been very, very vocal, and you feel his words. I do. Here we go. Again, I'll put links later so you can check out and support and listen to all the stuff they put out, and do more homework, everyone.
Hey there, Western world. You happy now? You satisfied? You satiated? Did the over 40,000 Palestinian deaths on your plate fill you up to your heart's desire? Were the 17,000 Palestinian children palatable enough for your taste buds? Has this satisfied your taste for hate and racism? Did this genocidal buffet achieve all your gluttonous desires? No? You want more? Well, you're in luck. Because here comes the last course, you grotesque, miserable pigs. Just as Hamas agreed to a ceasefire and a release of their beloved hostages that they never gave a single shit about, Israel rejected the ceasefire deal in order to execute the last phase of their ethnic cleansing. Not only were they already indiscriminately bombing the safe zone of Rafah during the negotiations of this deal, but they were also dropping bombs just as they dropped leaflets from the sky, ordering 1.5 million Palestinians, including 610,000 displaced, injured, diseased, and starving children, in the safe zone of Rafah to evacuate to God knows where. There is nowhere left to evacuate. They drop these dystopian leaflets as if they are a show of good faith, while they literally are dropping bombs in tent cities at the exact same time, so that the piece of shit Western media can report that Israel gave a population of 1.5 million people trapped in a space equivalent to an airport to evacuate to nowhere. All the while, Israel has raided and shut down Al Jazeera in Gaza, the only major news network able to share the truth to the world, thus resulting in the brave journalists and civilians on the ground in Gaza, fearing for their lives, having to be our eyes and ears as they document the massacres for us to share to the world. And Israel has now officially begun their ground invasion, where they will quite literally walk the streets killing anything on sight, with tanks surrounding every single hospital and building, housing innocent civilians seeking refuge, waiting for the moment they walk outside to blast them to oblivion. Do you all understand the repercussions of this ground invasion? Every single video I've ever made, exposing each and every population affected by Israel's onslaught, which happens to be every single category of human: embryos, infants, toddlers, early school-aged children, teenagers, adults, elderly, disabled, all those with pre-existing conditions, and even the fucking dead, where they desecrate the cemeteries and steal dead bodies, has now come down to this. Every single category of human is now sheltered in Rafah, trying to survive in the last southernmost point that is literally walled off, to be slaughtered like herded sheep with nowhere to go. This invasion of Rafah means the closing of the Rafah crossing into Egypt, which is the only passage for everyone to exit Gaza. The closure of the Kerem Shalom crossing means the halt of humanitarian aid entering Gaza, which will catapult Gaza into the most severe famine of our entire lifetimes. It means all patients with life-threatening pre-existing conditions like kidney or cardiovascular diseases or cancer that require medicine or vital medical equipment will inevitably die. And that's aside from the literal mass graveyard Rafah is about to be from this indiscriminate bombing and ground invasion. And what can we do about it now? Nothing. We now will have front row seats to the live broadcast of the Rafah massacre, the last phase of Israel's ethnic cleansing of Gaza. This is the absolute red line, the last straw, even for Biden's genocidal ass, who deliberately said not to invade Rafah, yet not a peep from this old sack of shit and his complicit cronies. But I don't give a fuck about them anymore, because we already know they're currently under the table, satisfying Netanyahu as we speak, getting ready to provide that lubrication via weaponry that they so desperately need to fight an unarmed, dying population. It's the Arab leaders I'm looking at now. We all have been waiting for that last straw, which was the invasion of Rafah. Everyone said there is no way they will invade Rafah, as the UN said that it would be the most catastrophic humanitarian crisis to happen to a population in our modern history. But here we are. It is happening. Just in the past hour, I have seen children taking their last breaths, begging doctors and their parents to reattach their arms, children with their necks severed from their torsos, and their hands sticking out from the rubble. This is just in the last hour. And you abhorrent little cowards are sitting there watching with popcorn in hand. Yes, I'm speaking to you, Sisi, Bin Salman, Abdullah, Mikati, Al-Assad, Rashid, Al-Nahyan, and the rest of you useless blood money receptacles. We have officially reached the last straw, and no action from you. Nothing. You might as well just sit there while they destroy our holiest Al-Aqsa Mosque, or Mecca for that matter. You're watching them spit on every single Arab on this earth, while they laugh and taunt you at the same time. You're all disgraces. You're all shams. You're all cowards. You're all khaybeen. You're all khayneen. You're all dajjalin. You're all il-kharar brijri. I have never been more serious in my life. We are all about to witness the most gruesome, horrific images coming out of Rafah. And we're going to make you see it all. Because not one fucking slaughtered life will go in vain. On my life and everything I hold dear, I will not let one single one of these murders go in vain by being silent or losing any energy for the cause. And I'm here to tell you, neither should you. In fact, I need you to be louder and more disruptive than you've ever been. Because every single man, woman, and child, dead or alive, are counting on you now. You let this shit go and stay silent at this point, then you're allowing this to happen to anyone else on earth, including you. And when the time comes where you are directly affected and you reach out your hand to me, I'm gonna walk away with my hands up in the air for you to fend for yourself. Because I will never forgive, and I will never forget this. for as long as I live and breathe. As many of you know, I'm currently being censored completely, with no ability to collaborate with my peers on anything, nor am I able to even like posts or follow anyone. Like many of my peers, Meta is actively and strategically attempting to tie my hands and muzzle me in the most critical juncture of our history, which has been the expose of our Western world corruption. But I will not be silent, and I will not shut up. But I also do need your help in getting this message to the masses in any and every way possible, because there's only so much I can do and only so much reach I have alone. You are now our army of informants, and we need you more than ever. Please, I am begging you. Peace and love, and may God help all those in Rafah.
That dude reminds me of what I try. And dang. So he's right about the shadow banning. It's happened to me. I've been shadow banned a bunch. You know, like, oh, I'm just doing this for clout. No, this is some serious shit right here. And I'm gonna try, as we all should. And those of you who are talking about it, not being silent in any way you can, and those of you who do go above and beyond, thank you. And also, since you, just in case you don't know what he's talking about with Rafah and the position of it, now Gaza, I don't know. Sometimes I have this feeling people are just seeing this for the first time, because I feel like all the evidence he's been talking about, I've been talking about, other people have been talking about who've been shadow banned and stuff. Maybe it's because we've been shadow banned. But I figure when I started sharing stuff, I thought, okay, this is going to wake people up. It's been 7 months. 7 months, and no one's been able to stop this. If anything, we know our government has an intelligence department. I like to think so. And I'm sure they see this, but what they're saying is denial, something to just pass the time and let them continue to another travesty. What up, Hugo? How you doing, fam? Thanks for swinging by. So, now Gaza is known as an open-air prison. Why? Because there's these huge walls around preventing anyone going in and out without the approval of the Israeli government. And each section has military outposts, and it's like these watchtowers looking out. It is literally a prison. Now, after learning so much of the lobbyists running this, our politics, after learning so much of the lobbyists running our politicians by paying them buco bucks to say whatever and do whatever, I am convinced more than ever that there's a longer plan for the terrorist state of Israel, because the ICG, I'm getting my letters mixed up, but the arrest warrants that the international courts of justice and others are wanting to get for Netanyahu and all his other cronies who are part of the war crimes, our country threatens them for trying to apprehend these war criminals. That bothers me. Now, it tells me more than, as this goes on, I see more and more how diehard the politicians have run this country. I mean, I'm saying vote third party. Red, blue, it's all the same. Again, Pokemon cards, different skill sets. I think Biden's in power specifically so they know that he's diehard. He's like, I'm going to make an Israel. If there isn't one, we're going to make it. Well, what are you making? On top of the corpses of dead people? Is that how you treat a holy land? With blood and slaughter? So we know he is gung-ho, because ever since this has happened, he's been in denial since day one, going back to just focus on the old school propaganda of October 7th and the fabrications of that. And I'm not excusing any wrongdoing. Wrong is wrong. But the lies that are being forced to fuel the actions of collective punishment is wrong. And going back to keep that going, it just keeps sending more money off. I think Biden is the only guy who would do it, and they needed him to do it in order to execute this slaughter of the people so they could build more settlements for Israel, so they could build a facility for all the precious gas and oil there, and expand Israel even more. And they can't do it with Palestinians there. That's disgusting to them. So they just got to clear them all, like they're getting rid of an infestation in the house. And that's disgusting. And they're doing it to human life because they think they're better than other people. And all that stuff. So, oh, sorry, I just screwed up. So I want to this other content creator on IG reshared what's going on in Gaza, and you'll see the map and how and why this is so effed up, and just look by the action.
For those of you who are visual learners, this is what's been happening the past 215 days of this genocide. Watch. Remember when they told everyone to move down south? It's going to be safe down south. Watch. The crazy part is, I showed you guys this 135 days into this genocide. We are 80 more days into this genocide, and we are literally witnessing the same thing. Close to 40,000 innocent people have been murdered. Tens of thousands are still under the rubble. And now everyone's here, down in the south, in Rafah, and they're bombing Rafah. There are over 1.5 million innocent Palestinians that have been displaced in the south of Gaza, in Rafah, right here. Over 600,000 of them are children. The aid, the food, the waters, all in that area. And now Israel's indiscriminately bombing this area. Now, mind you, all of these people are living under tents. They're indiscriminately bombing this area, dropping leaflets from the sky telling them it is no longer safe to be there. They have to leave. Where are they supposed to go? Literally, where are they supposed to go? There is nowhere else for them to go. How can you look at this visual demonstration and not call this a genocide, not call this an ethnic cleansing, not call for a ceasefire? So we need you now more than ever to keep posting, keep sharing, and do not stop talking about Palestine.
It's crazy. Another guy made a video about the map of Gaza and Palestine, and he was highlighting this in the very beginning. I think, yeah, it was in my very first video I did when I started covering this on my channel, where he was like, wait, where are they supposed to go? They can't go anywhere, and they're going to carpet bomb everything. Again, every single thing me, him, others have said is wrong and will happen has happened. This other guy by the name of J Stoker. Again, I'm going to put all the links. This is just to help get the word out best I can with, what I have. And y'all tuning in and following me, I appreciate you. Seriously. This guy has been breaking down a lot of stuff too. And this is one of his recent videos as well. And let's give him a listen.
3 months ago, I said the Rafah assault probably wouldn't happen. It's operationally impossible. Israel has no achievable goals. The resistance is still active in the north, but sometimes I forget that every decision Israel makes is in its own worst interest, and its only agenda is genocide and ethnic cleansing at all costs. It's absolute insanity, but let's break down the major developments and what they mean going forward. So 20 hours ago, Hamas accepted the proposal presented by Qatar and Egypt. When mentioning these two, it implies involvement from the U.S. and the brokerage of the CIA. Arab governments were hoping Hamas would accept it since they fear the Rafah invasion as a flashpoint for civil unrest in their own populations, since they are complicit in a genocide of other Arabs for the sake of Western interests in the region. So a ceasefire agreement will mean a new government in Israel because Smotrich and Ben-Gvir will leave office, which will cause Netanyahu the majority. Replacing Bibi with Yair Lapid is another lunatic dude, but it's also a U.S. goal. Bibi doesn't want this, so he greenlit the Rafah operation in order to play for time. Israel has not achieved any of its objectives, whereas the resistance has, having exposed the complicity of Arab regimes, the hypocrisy of international law, the bias and rapacious greed of the Western establishment, which again Arab leaders are a part of. They've temporarily stalemated the Saudi-Israeli normalization process, and they've exposed how weak, incompetent, and immoral the Israeli army is. So someone one is playing chess, the other one is playing checkers, and this conflict will be won not through strength of arms, but through geopolitical savvy. So Israel has taken over the Rafah crossing on the Egyptian border. This was expected given that Israel has lost the war both militarily and politically. It is now wholly bent on displacing and starving 2.2 million people into accepting an invitation to be voluntarily relocated outside of Gaza through an aid port. It's notable that the IDF occupation of the Philadelphia corridor is in violation of the 1979 peace accord with Egypt. Since there's been no official protest from the Egyptian government, we must assume they have given Israel their blessing, which is unsurprising considering the billions Egypt has received this year from the IMF, World Bank, various Gulf states, and the European Union. All of this being said, Israel has far exceeded its window of legitimacy. Thought-terminating cliches like Hamas, free the hostages, are beyond ringing hollow. This has been a political disaster for the United States, and the U.S. has lost significant leverage in the Middle East in particular, and the global South in general. CIA Director William Burns continues to try and broker a U.S. deal between Hamas and Israel, one which Hamas accepted and Israel refused. Forget idiotic congressmen like Tom Cotton who don't know the difference between China and Singapore. The greater U.S. establishment wants this war to end, if only to safeguard U.S. strategic interests around the globe. The game is up. Israel is just treading water, hoping for the political situation to change, which it won't. The U.S. still supports Israel and will do whatever is necessary to fund it. However, the current state of the war is not sustainable. And once a ceasefire happens, Israel will lose for real, for real. In the meantime, the Rafah assault will be a catastrophe. We will be going into all of this in more detail tomorrow morning on the Colonial Outcast podcast. Link in bio if you're interested. If you're protesting, ratchet up the pressure. Cheers.
Put a link of his podcast in the description, as I'll do with the rest of the stuff. Definitely support and check out that podcast when you can. I saw your information, Hugo. That's cool. I'll post it up in a little bit. I'm just trying to remember my train of thoughts. So a lot of stuff is going on. This is huge, and this is what was consuming my mind and heart all day yesterday, because a lot of things are in play here, and like you said, it's geopolitical and all this other stuff, but the cost, ladies and gentlemen, you get an idea the more you dive into why countries won't do anything for anybody that goes against the grand overall scheme of things and everything that they're trying to build here. They're playing Risk at our own expense, the game Risk, and it's messed up. And I did play this video before, but I'll just play it now because it just seems very needs to be revisited again.
You like the direction that Canada is headed in with Justin Trudeau leading the country?
You know what? I don't.
Okay.
It's because I feel sorry for you kids.
Okay.
A few years ago, Justin Trudeau borrowed $140 billion from the British Crown.
Yeah.
That you nor your grandchildren are ever going to be able to pay back. Why? Because our country's broke, guys. Think about it. We relied on the oil sands as the lifeblood to take care of most of the infrastructure in this country. It's now gone. As much as this dirty oil was a problem, it floated the East. It kept PEI afloat. Look, that's a lot of money every month we've lost. It's in the tens of billions of dollars.
Yeah.
This country, like the United States, is broke, and we share a symbiotic relationship with their economy. We're heading to war, believe it or not. Believe it or not, son, you're going to be strapping a rifle on yourself, and I feel sorry for you. Because every third generation forgets, and you're the generation that forgets.
Okay.
Every 3 generations, the fourth goes to war because we forgot the first 3. He's heading us into war.
What did Netanyahu tell Biden when they first met in the beginning of this? Prepare for a 10-year war, or a war that will take 10 years, something like that. And with the goals of them expanding, and the fact that they also bombed Yemen and Lebanon, and they're involved with the genocide going down in the Congo. Come on. We heard the term blood diamonds. Diamonds aren't beautiful to me. And because it's at the cost of human life. How does Israel be number one in exporting diamonds that come from South Africa. Oh, Africa, sorry. And it's just crazy how you see how everyone's linked by the actions and the blood. And this genocide has been revealing a lot of people, or to who's what and who's where and what the powers that be are really after and for. It's messed up. It's really sad, but I want to go back to the damage, or I want to get to the damage of Hamzeh. The damage in Hamzeh is insane, because also one of the things Israel wants to do is rebuild. So if, like Greg Stoker was pointing out, a ceasefire would hurt the people in power and government. They need this they need the genocide to go on. I'm not going to call it a war. It's not a freaking war. War is two armies at each other. An army at civilians, that's genocide. So they need this genocide to keep going on so they can stay in power. But they know they can't stay in power for long. So think about it. What do they need to achieve by the time their power runs out? They need to accomplish their goals. They need to wipe out enough of the land in Hamzeh to establish the settlements that they want to build there and everything that they need to set in stone. Sorry, the wording is horrible, but set in stone something that they can't take back, something that they want to invest in going forwards, because they want to expand. I definitely know that they want to expand, and this video goes over the devastation, how much damage has been done, how much it would relatively cost to rebuild.
Overall reconstruction of Gaza today, according to our estimate, will be between $40 to $50 billion at least. We are back in the 80s almost for Gaza. So all the investments in human development in the Palestinian territories in the last 20 years and in Gaza in the last 40 years have been wiped out. Yes, 5% of the population has been either killed or badly wounded, and that's, again, it's an unprecedented level of casualties in a very short time. Usually such levels of casualties take years.
Takes years. Short time. Again, the timing. $40 to $50 billion. What happened recently last week? Biden approved a bill to send 90-something billion dollars. 90-some billion. So if it takes $40 to $50 billion to rebuild what's been destroyed in Hamzeh, of that 90-some billion, we'll just say 90 for discussion's sake. So that leaves 40 billion left. So you have 50 billion set aside to rebuild Hamzeh, however you want. And then you have the extra 40 billion for military operations and killing more people. And it's almost like an open money laundering system. It's like they take the taxes from hardworking Americans here. We have no say where the money goes, apparently, not into our own school system, not into our healthcare problems, not into our homeless situation, not into rebuilding roads and buildings and infrastructures and making America blossom for the people. No, they take the money and then they go put it into another country that's slaughtering innocent men, women, and children. And that money they give over to them, the money that comes back goes to the politicians. So it's like they're all getting a cut off of our asses. And this one will break it down for you too, which is kind of interesting.
Let's move on to the next part here. This is as it relates to us. Why is there so much war fever here in Washington? Well, let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen. Something a little pretty interesting here from our friend over at Unusual Whales. Here's every U.S. politician whose stock portfolio will benefit from a conflict in the Middle East between Iran and Israel. I've aggregated a list of their stocks: Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, and more. Many are making millions. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of red and blue. crew that is on there. You've got Kevin Hearn, Mark Green, Tommy Tuberville, Nancy Pelosi, Michael McCall, Marla Salazar, Alan Lowenthal, Lois Frankel, Patrick Fallon, Diana Hirschberger, Mike Kelly, Carol Miller, Dwight Evans. That's just in the top 10. So you can go through and read the entire report that he's put together. But what he gets at is that it's not only the politicians that are going to be making a ton of money based on this. It's that the defense companies here in the U.S. are salivating over a broader conflict. Put this up there, please, on the screen, because this is the perfect evidence that you need. Lockheed Martin stock was actually upgraded and rated as a buy by major Wall Street houses over the missile-heavy weekend in Israel. They say Lockheed Martin has climbed early Monday, receiving an upgrade from JP Morgan. Meanwhile, defense stocks are all rising after U.S., British, and Israeli defense forces on Saturday knocked down a barrage of missiles and drones launched by Iran against Israel. They upgraded the stock to overweight from neutral and hiked its price target to $518 from the current $475 price hike. On top of that, the defense industry is currently receiving the 2024 budget, where they are scheduled to get even more of an increase from the U.S. government. Not to mention, Crystal, literally as you and I speak here in Washington, there is an effort to try and pass foreign aid and get the Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan bill through the House of Representatives, which would be another $100 billion, the vast majority of that coming right back here to U.S. defense companies.
Yep, and think of the quote-unquote choices we have in our democracy. You know, Trump or Biden, they're both for this same disgusting, depraved system. They're both for continuing to fuel this. I mean, I think it's disgusting that people become wildly wealthy off of war. And you wonder why are we constantly involved in multiple wars at the same time? And you'd be hard-pressed to find a better answer than...
Yeah, even Tom Cotton got away with a bunch of gold he stole when going over in Iraq. I think I sent another video, Afghanistan by accident and confusion or whatever, but yeah. And Mr. Kento, Chinese from Singaporeans, and calling us little Gazas. So now I said Biden earlier on. He has a skill set to give Israel everything that they want. Some I don't think Trump would do. Trump will help them legally and fund them still, like he did with Jerusalem, being the capital and stuff, and all the legalities there. But also he now you look at Trump's goal of building a wall. Is his wall really to keep illegals out, or is his wall to keep Americans in? Roll with me on this one. What happens when we keep taking all the money from the American people and giving it to another country, and a cut of that going into the pocket of the politician who ripped the money from us? What's that going to leave us? Look at the homeless rates going up. Are we going to turn into a Western Gaza for that terrorist state? And the supremacists and the privileged get to go over there and, because they got a little spot reserved just for them, because the settlements over there work like that. You don't have to be there. You get a settlement and then be there, and then all of a sudden you're a local, and then you get a machine gun and you get to bully the local Palestinians. That's messed up. And rebuilding, we've seen blueprints and pictures, but let's listen from Mr. Netanyahu himself.
עכשיו מפגישות עם שרי החוץ של בריטניה וגרמניה. אמש שוחחתי עם ראש ממשלת בריטניה רישי סונאק. בקרוב אני גם משוחח עם מנהיגים נוספים. אני מודה לידידינו על תמיכתם בהגנת ישראל, ואני אומר את זה גם תמיכה במילים וגם תמיכה במעשים. יש להם גם כל מיני הצעות ועצות. אני מעריך את זה, אבל אני רוצה להבהיר שאת ההחלטות שלנו אנחנו נקבל בעצמנו. ומדינת ישראל תעשה כל מה שצריך כדי להגן על עצמה. הממשלה תאשר היום את תוכנית תקומה לשיקום יישובי עוטף עזה. אנחנו נשקיע סכום של גדול מאוד, של 19 מיליארד שקלים, כדי להזניק את יישובי עוטף עזה לדורות. אנחנו נשקיע בדיור, בתשתיות, בחינוך, בתעסוקה, ברפואה ועוד. מחבלי החמאס ביקשו לעקור אותנו, אנחנו נעקור אותם ונעמיק שורש. נבנה את ארץ ישראל, נשמור על המדינה שלנו. תודה רבה לכם.
So he's looking to prolong this and expand. See, if you look at the history that, was been on news, and then the news that's under the AIPAC payroll had said, oh, sorry for the misinformation, but you're seeing it unfold before our eyes. Any area that's Palestine is slowly decreasing. And each time it decreases is through massive, massive amounts of bloodshed. This is the Nakba 2 that they were chanting for 3 years ago that would happen 2 years later, and it did. It's very bothersome. Here's another clip analyzing what's going on.
The Israelis have no interest in a ceasefire. This is just a show, an act that the Israelis and Americans are putting on to calm down people who are sane and who are angry about this genocide. There's something that we have to understand, is that the hostages, the Palestinian hostages, they've been sitting in Israeli dungeons for many years. And the Israelis, they pretend like they want to have an exchange, but they just keep on refusing the offer that was there on the table since day one. Since day one, it's been the same offer. Get out of Gaza, allow people to go back to their homes, and give us everyone that you've put in dungeons. Remember, these are women, these are children, these are men who are locked up without charge, without trial. Just a few months ago, actually twice this happened in this war. Twice they attacked the family of Walid Dahdour, so who works at Al Jazeera, and they killed his son, grandson, daughter. So that's what Israel does to journalists. They murder them, and now the count is above 140. And yeah, very democratic, as you can see, George, very clear. I mean, even if you are in Gaza, that's not a reason to be killed because you're a journalist in Gaza. But just to show how vindictive the Israelis are, they are firing into Lebanon at groups of journalists where there is no battlefield, there's no combat, it's not even an urban area. These are wide open fields, and they just fire at them with tanks.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that footage. Too much, as many of us have. And again, more of that prolonging. They're refusing hostage exchange. And when they did have a hostage exchange, they released a good amount of Palestinian hostages, but then they abducted more the next day, -1. It's like nothing really changed. It's pretty horrible. And this is why the students at campuses nationwide, worldwide, there's new ones in London, are doing something that hasn't been done before, but something we never imagined would be done before, which is, camping, sitting, singing, speaking, just having a constant protest on campus. Because guess what? These kids, they invest in their future, and they're speaking on this now because our future is at stake. If genocide can go on without repercussions of those people carrying out war crimes, the people who carry out war crimes, if they never get to answer justice and they get away with it, that affects all of us. All of us. A lot of people who are in favor of this genocide or in disbelief of this genocide are like, no, just study. You have a future. Just ignore all this stuff. Don't even try. Don't even bother. But no, these kids have proved me very, very, very effing proud. Now, on other podcasts and stuff, I've made jokes at the younger generation. Oh, they're so soft. They're just outspoken about their feelings because we said, hey, you should speak your mind. Now they're giving us their mind, They're like, oh, I don't want to work. And we're like, oh, they should be tougher like I was as a kid or whatever. This generation gap and criticism that every generation has of the one coming up. But I am very proud and taken back at how strong this young generation is. I really believe the future is in good hands if we make it that far. That these kids who know right from wrong and are aware of the world more than the elder generation. See, the elder generation, at some point, our nervous system gets slower. We can't process new information. We just stay comfy with our little comfort zones and bubbles. And we can't accept things that challenge us and say, hey, no, actually, these people that your government's saying for a long time are all terrorists are actually good people, and none of them are terrorists. There's only radical groups, which are like in every country. Like in America, the KKK, they are still yet to be labeled as a hate group. They have yet to be labeled as terrorists. In fact, when they have their little gatherings, the police protect them more than they protect us. Now, this is where I'm really bothered by, because these students haven't been really protected at all. They've been voicing their opinion and sharing their stories, like this next one right here.
Hi everyone, my name is Isra. I'm a student at Harvard, and I'm a refugee from Gaza, and I'm here to tell you about the phone call I had this morning with my mom. Over the last 6 months, more than 124 people in my family have been brutally killed by the Israeli occupation forces. For the last 6 months, I have had to wake up to messages of my cousin being shot on his bike, of my aunt going blind because she can't get medication for her blood pressure, of my entire uncle's house falling down on them. Everyone in that home died. I had to see photos of my family in body bags make the rounds on Twitter. I had to see my last name scrawled on them in black ink. This morning, I got the news that the home that's been sheltering part of my family for the last 6 months has been fully evacuated. Last night, pamphlets dropped all around their neighborhood. Last night, their next door neighbor was bombed, and everyone in that home was killed. The pamphlet said, you have to leave now, you have to evacuate now, or face the violence of the Israeli occupation. My aunt's foot's been broken for 6 months. She's never received treatment. Most of my cousins are sick, hungry, tired. There's been no food, there's no water. They've been drinking seawater since week 3 trying to survive. And they've now evacuated the structure that was keeping them out of the fucking cold. By the way, no windows, no doors. All those are blown off by bombs. Now they're headed to Mawasi, a coastal, quote-unquote, safe zone in Gaza, hoping they'll find a tent to sleep in.
That was a while ago, because we're going to, look back a bit, because there's no violence at the student protests. I've been to the ones here in LA, and there's a big Zionist headquarters not too far from UCLA, probably 10, 15 blocks away, probably. So they got met with extreme aggression. And what does our news media do? They just advertise that, there's violence at the pro-Palestine protests, or the pro-Hamas thing. So they kind of advertise it that the violence is us, but it's actually brought to us by the people who are pro the occupation. And it's been true. Like, this was the day of, and you've seen this before, but these are the people who got wind of the big noise for free Palestine, stop killing people, no genocide to anyone. These people got wind of it and showed up with great aggression towards the peaceful protesters. All right, that's just too much. I already played that before. We don't need to see the whole thing. But that lady is, I hope they rape you. So now you got a lot of things going on. You have the false stereotype that that's what they do to people, which they don't, assuming that Palestinians rape people. And because that was off of that lie of what happened October 7th, and which, there's no witnesses, no victims, it's all been exposed. Check out the Double Down News that went over the details of what exactly happened that day. And so if that was bad, then she's hoping that that's how the answer is to them that she disagrees with. Now, if you are in the right, you would not have to sink to such measures of hate and violence as a retaliation. That's really, really super guilty, because later that night, firecrackers were shot at the students, and they had sounds of crying Palestinian children that had been caught on video. All this has been documented, so they put that on audio to taunt the protesters. Now, imagine if you are believing you're in the right for pro-Israel, why would you take the sounds of children being slaughtered, which apparently would be okay with you, to use to taunt to the people saying that genocide is wrong? Yeah, you're taking advantage of the genocide to throw it at their faces. See, something doesn't line up there. That logic makes no sense to me, other than you're so fueled with hatred that you think that the dying screams of a child is okay.
Best. I need you to go grab
Go wear masks. We're okay. We're okay. A seafoam got me in the eye earlier. That's awesome.
Start throwing it.
What about our fucking safety, bro? What's that?
or gets the cops called.
Where you from? Where you from? You can speak Arabic? I'm a reporter.
Yeah.
You speak Arabic?
Have you been to Gaza? Send them there. Send them.
What language do you speak? Where are you from? Where's your ancestors from?
I'm a reporter.
Why are you even here? You're just another dummy, right? Another stupid guy. No fucking brain, right? Just an idiot.
Hello, guys. This is one of the terrorists. Look at this kitty.
That was a week ago. I want to address it because a lot of people are saying that protesters are violent, but the violence is brought to them by the opposition. And Patrick, I don't remember why I have you blocked on Instagram, but block you if it was a misunderstanding. But back to the matter is that when you see the news reports say that that the violence is wrong, disruption is wrong, but they say that the peaceful protesters are doing the violence and all that. They're just being attacked. But the violence is never from the side that gets away with it. They just advertise that to the others. I mean, there were some news that covered it, but yeah, the cops didn't show up at all for it, and that's very, very bothersome. So you have the law enforcement that doesn't protect the students, and then you have the news media that slanders the students, saying that the students are the ones responsible for the violence, but they didn't do any of they were the victims here.
Through the quad. Look at this. Somebody is being beaten. Somebody is being beaten with a stick and punches in the middle of the lawn. Look at that. Look at that. Somebody is being dragged and beaten in the front of that plywood wall. Just incredible. Like, where are the police? Where is security? Where are these people? Just where is authority here? This has gone now on for over an hour and a half, and it is absolutely appalling, in my estimation, that we have not seen any response. I've just never seen it. In my career, I have never seen this level of violence without any response from any kind of law enforcement or authority whatsoever. Oh, look at that. Somebody just took a pallet to the head. Boards of plywood are moving up. They've been dislodged from that makeshift wall where they were set up with tripods almost, and now you can see them manually being moved up into the crowd of counter protesters, and you're seeing these scuffles break out one after another. Lots of very heavy sticks, very heavy barricades, scooters, all types of things being employed to inflict.
And then like how the helicopter guy or the guy announcing it, he got excited almost like it was a wrestling match with the guy who got hit with the pallet. Again, that was all old news, but I just want to put in perspective because I heard our president talk down on our peaceful protesters as being violent. I didn't like that. So now the first time he's lied or altered something. Apologies on blocking. I do remember I do block when something's happened in interactions that's uncomfortable or something slanderous, and I'm okay to start all over again with whoever, but I'm very particular when I block on something that's insulting or unfriending or restricting. I go between whatever. So that would be the answer. If someone remembers or not, we can work it out. If not, then that's usually why I do it. And I do remember because I've blocked a lot of people who've threatened my life, who've made fun of children dying, who's come up with racial slander, who've done anything offensive or aggressive that's uncalled for. The whole thing is that violence is not the answer. Only keep it in works of fiction, and real life, no, we gotta be really adult about things. So there's some more of I'm gonna play another video of from a Chicago interview of a student there who continues to tell the truth of what's going on from the protesters and the students.
Some breaking news on the campus of the University of Chicago. Campus police there breaking up a protester encampment.
Police in riot gear arrived on campus early this morning. Joni has been there very early. She has the latest. Joni, what has unfolded since you arrived?
Well, the campus police, as you said, moved in just before 5 a.m. And these protesters have been holding a line now for 2 hours. There's a bullhorn behind us, so it's very loud. Christopher was on the inside when it happened. Describe what happened in the quadrangle this morning.
Yeah, it was horrific. They waited like cowards until every single student was asleep in their tent, basically. And then they stormed in, maybe 40 or 50 of them with riot gear screaming. They started throwing wood planks, throwing chairs, throwing absolutely everything in any direction to destroy the camp as fast as possible, to suppress this movement as fast as possible. And in fact, one of the chairs that they threw came within maybe 3 inches of hitting my girlfriend in the head. And they had just woken us up.
So it was dark because it was before sunrise. You had a warning that they were coming, but they didn't for a while, and so everybody went to sleep.
We had no warning. No, we had no warning.
Okay, so then what did you do when all that action was happening?
I tried to make sure everyone was safe. I mean, it was chaos. It was terrifying. Yeah.
So you were able to get out. I understand that students are being threatened with disciplinary action for being in there.
They gave us some ridiculous notice out here saying that participants in the quad encampment, which no longer exists thanks to them, are facing like an interim leave of absence as well as a criminal trespass charge. I have no idea if that's just a scare tactic or if it's real, but it doesn't matter because the difference between us and people like these cops is that there are limits to when we continue following orders. And when you're talking about a genocide visited upon a colonized population of 2 million people trapped in a ghetto that's as long as a marathon and 6 miles wide, when that ghetto is being systematically starved, slaughtered, every hospital bombed, every university bombed, 70% of homes destroyed, 40,000 people murdered, 15,000 children murdered, the entire population on the brink of starvation, we say, and if our government and our academic institutions are complicit in this, there comes a point where we say we're not following orders and it doesn't matter what you do to us because there are principles and there are human lives that matter more than our careers and our futures, and that's what separates us from people like Paul Olivisatos, the coward president of this university, and these coward cops that come in terrorizing an encampment while people are sleeping.
You've been standing at this line linked arm in arm with other protesters. What has happened here?
What's happening here, you'd have to ask them. Apparently they're trying to intimidate us, trying to suppress the protest that is continuing to grow. I think that they thought they could basically terrify us into inaction, into flight. But this is what this university has never understood, has never accepted, has never reckoned with about this student movement, and not just at UChicago, but around the country, is that the commitment to Gaza runs deeper than fears for our safety, fears for our careers, fears for our paychecks. It is a fundamental obligation we have as citizens of a country that is presiding over this genocide, arming this genocide, genocide, and as students at a university that is invested in those same weapons manufacturers and that is partnered with the same apartheid institutions that train that military and develop its technology.
There was some pushing and shoving. I don't know who was pushing or shoving, but I know that there was tension here at the line. You've tried to have a conversation with some of these police officers.
Yeah, I've been talking to them this whole time. I've been asking them what it would take for them to stop following orders. I would ask them, how many kids have to die? So if you say 15,000 kids are killed, they're still willing to violently suppress a national movement, raising the alarm that this needs to stop, that the U.S. complicity needs to stop. So what if it was 50,000 kids, 200,000 kids, 1 million kids? What if the whole Gaza ghetto?
Do you know if there are next steps here?
For them? For me, the next step is a simple one, whatever form it takes, which is to continue fighting with every breath we have, with everything we have, for the people of Gaza, because the blood of those kids is on our hands. It's on all of our hands, whether we like it or not. If we're U.S. citizens, if we're U-Chicago students, we are implicated in this horror that is being visited with total impunity because of U.S. Security Council vetoes by the state of Israel. I'm a student, yes, I'm a PhD student, yeah.
And if you face discipline, what then?
Again, I don't care. It doesn't matter. There are things that matter more than my academic future. And certainly every one of those children that is being murdered, starved, maimed, whose parents are having to choose, do I let this kid starve first or that one? This is such an ugly reality of such great magnitude that to even think, to really entertain questions about what might happen if Paul puts me on a leave of absence is ridiculous, and it's insulting to the memory of every child that has been murdered in the course of this genocide with the full complicity of the United States, of Joe Biden, and of people like Paul Alabisatos and his cops that he sticks on us in the middle of the night. They're hypocrites, they're cowards, and the blood of Gaza's kids is on their hands too. The difference between them and us is that we know that and we reckon with it because we have a duty to them while they hide from the truth. And they won't even admit that a single university has been bombed.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all for being here. I'll end on that one. I'll continue if necessary. And I'm not going to stop. And yeah, this, I don't know when it's going to end, but a free Palestine would be an end, would mean equal rights for everybody. It will mean an end to occupation, and it will mean an end to our taxes, our money being going to another country. It can come back home and take care of us here, and then we can be stronger for other people in the world. There's this fundamental reality that human beings care for human beings, and it should be that way. And it's very, very, very important we stand up for each other and do what's right. Because if we sit idly by, ladies and gentlemen, when innocent people are slaughtered, murdered, killed, and their land is taken from them, we are saying that's okay. And that should never be okay. Whatever caused this, actually, we know what caused it. It's a long story there. But I guess I really want to say the ends do not justify the means. All right? Going back to everything that students said, spot on. And they are the future. And I feel that if we make it to the future, we'll be okay. But we have to encourage this. We have to step up. We have to do and be better so no one else has to die wrongfully. War crimes will end. They're using white phosphorus on people, ladies and gentlemen. Hellfire missiles. Bunker bombs jumped on apartments. Ladies and gentlemen, the list goes on. But like I said, around this time tomorrow, I should have links up for you to check out. Someone was bothered that they discovered having blocked on Instagram. I don't know I don't remember why, but there's most likely reason. But I'm happy to reason and work something out. But there's been a lot of folly stuff that I'm not good with, and but I am hoping that people can change for the better, and I can restart again. That should be the whole thing. We all change for the better, and I hope you all wake up. I hope you follow the people who've been following this real hard. Just like the brother said that he's been shadow banned, he can't follow and all that. I've had those issues too, but him more. Why? Because he has a strong following. He has a strong voice. They, as in the Zionist regime that's in power, what they want to do, what they usually do, they silence the strongest voices. Why are they going after TikTok? They're going after TikTok because I think that's the most popular, most used social media. And they have to go after one, they'll go after the biggest one. So then they figure they'll take a chunk out. But that's not going to silence any of us, because the thing is, when you know the truth, there's no going back from the truth. When you accept the truth, there's no going back from the truth. And if anything goes against the truth, that just proves the truth even stronger, even more worthy to stand up and fight. In addition to the innocent lives lost, collective punishment is not an answer, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why we have to beat this drum of what should be universally understood and cherished, which is human life, innocent human life. So much propaganda and hatred and phobias, isms, and all this stuff that divide us is all there. It's horrible. It's disgusting. I have more clips to show, but I want to end it on that because it's been a little bit too long. And, I'll save it for the next one when we go over the ignorance and stuff, because unfortunately there's plenty of it. But there's more good in the world, I believe. And we got to encourage it so it can blossom. And I believe the faction at power is the Zionist faction. The Zionists are the ones who are really behind this all, because Joe Biden's a Zionist, and the Zionism has nothing to do with Judaism. I think it just uses the victim card of Judaism to I think they use Judaism as a victim card from the Holocaust to flex, to get their way when they do wrong on others, and that it's that they're untouchable, and I do not like that. And that's more of the propaganda, the supremacy going on. And I learned all this from my Jewish friends, the Jewish Voices for Peace. I march with them along with the Palestinian youth movement. And they say never again for anyone. That is true. Never again any Holocaust for anyone. But it's happening before our eyes. And you're either okay with it, you're against it, or you're for it. And there's only one right direction, which is against it. And their slogan is not in our name. And they're good. Everyone's good people. It's really good people that's going to get us through all this stuff. And yeah, we can get into more of that later, but I'll leave you all on that. And I guess I'll say one more. The thing is, this will be a segue to the next one, because if I do another one, I'll talk about the Zionist regime or whatever. But we'll just do some more videos and stuff, because I'm not going to stop talking about Palestine, and neither should you. And I hope we could do this as in freeing everybody, because then if everyone's free, we're all free. And that would be great. So pray for everyone in Gaza, pray for Palestine, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for cruising by, for watching the replay. Thank you for watching, and come back later and check out the links I'll put below. And yeah. Much love, everybody. God bless.